It's Smoking and Toasting on location. We are in Honduras at Camp Aladino, and we are thrilled, actually.
Look how beautiful this is.
Yeah, well,
seriously.
First of all, we're thrilled to be here, and secondly, we're thrilled to have Justo Eiroa on the show with us. Justo, first of all, thank you for the amazing hospitality. You've really shown us a good time here. This has been wonderful.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for coming over. This is something that we have been doing for many, many years, and now with the new Aladino, and my dad is pretty excited to having you guys over. So I really do appreciate your time, and also having us in Smoke and Toast. It's a great honor. Yeah, thank you so much.
The hospitality here is unbelievable. This is so kind of old world feel, and you guys like going out to the farm and everything. We're going to have tons of video footage and pictures of that, but this has been just an amazing experience, and I will tell you, you will not starve here.
No.
Like the food here has been wonderful. The red beans, everyone, like every meal has these red beans that are just amazing.
Well,
It's been so good.
It also hasn't been difficult to find great cigars,
No.
which has been a real treat as well. So, Justo, tell us a little bit about the history of the farm and the factory, and how long this has been here, and when did it become the Aladino and JRE factory?
Okay, basically, this is probably one of the oldest farms outside of Cuba and Central America. So this is one of the original farms where a Banco de Fomento of Honduras and an Institute of Tobacco of Cuba started a pilot program in 1961. So before the Cuban embargo,
Right.
Nobody knew the U.S. was going to have a Cuban embargo. So what happened was this, the president of the Honduran Central Bank, Jorge Hueso Arias, and Tino Argudin, which was the head of the Institute of the Cuban Tobacco Institute in Cuba, they were classmates in college. And the central bank president in Honduras wanted to start developing. Back in the 60s, Honduras was very rural, and they were trying to, they were known for bananas, but they also wanted to get into more tobacco. So that a small plot and probably the oldest barns in Central America are built in this farm. So they built originally 4. We had 2 left. As a matter of fact, we've been traveling all over the farm, and we never got to take pictures inside the barn. Can you believe that? After 3 days or 2 days of running around,
We took so many pictures too.
Yes,
It was pretty amazing.
And we started in the fields, which was this is the first time for me that I'd ever been in a real tobacco field, and it was such an education just to learn about how you rotate the crops, what you plant where, what the time is. One of the things that blew my mind is that you said that the tobacco plants grow about an inch a day. That's unbelievable.
well, the tobacco is a solanase. It's the same thing. It's the same family. Botanically, it's the same family as a potato and as a tomato. And usually, the cycle of those is about 120 days. Mm-hmm. So, once you do come out of the greenhouse, which is around 45 days, then you have another 75 to 80 days to get all the primings.
Now, the people always talk about the soil in Cuba and how that's the perfect environment for, growing tobacco. How do you contrast the soil here in Honduras with what people at least always say about the soil in Cuba?
Well, remember, in today's world, we don't know us as the consumers in the U.S. don't know much about Cuban cigars, but I would say the richness of these soils, volcanic soils, are spectacular. And today's tobacco, any cigar, either whether it's made in Nicaragua or Dominican Republic or Honduras, I would say, in my personal opinion, it's probably got better quality than Cuban tobacco. They don't have the resources to grow great tobacco, but there's no incentive to also grow great tobacco.
Well, and you got to take care of your fields. You got to do the crop rotations and things like that to keep the soil with all the nutrients in it, or you start to deplete the soil itself.
And when you're saying there's no incentive, it's because it's not capitalistic in
it's
its
a socialist
nature,
system,
right?
So whether you do it right or doing wrong, it's gonna
pay
something.
about
That's
the same.
why that's why we're like,
your check is not going to change.
Your check is not going to change.
That's true. Well, you guys have done an amazing job. One of the things that I was so impressed with is how well organized this entire operation is, from the fields all the way through to the final step of the putting the cigars into the boxes. Things are so well organized, so clean. Now, I don't want you to bag on other guys, but is that unusual? It struck me as unusually organized and clean.
Well, in no ways I will ever bash, because they're great, growers out there in the industry. But I only know what we do,
right?
And my dad is a perfectionist, and when you have a perfectionist and you also have passion and you also love tobacco, and when you combine all those three, you get the results of getting great tobacco. So organization in a farm operation like this is very important. So you have a plan what you're going to be growing, and then you know where it's going to be grown and what amount of pounds that we needed. When we had in the Camacho days that we're doing 60, 70,000 cigars a day, you needed to grow a lot of tobacco, and you need to be organized to be able to manage those volumes.
I'm amazed at not only how organized that is, but the quality control that you guys exhibit on every step of the way is absolutely unbelievable and evident when you go through and watch it. Absolutely wonderful.
I was just to say, Justo Eiroa is our guest. We are actually his guests. We're at his home.
We're both guests.
we're at his home, which is beautiful, and the vistas are absolutely scenic. We're having a great time here, but more importantly, I think learning so much, and I think that consumers are really just beginning to learn about the Aladino brands. And I know you love the farming part of this, but a lot more of your time now is taken with marketing and beginning to get people to understand what these brands are about and what you're doing, and be aware of them. Yeah. So walk us through real quick the launch of Aladino as a cigar company.
Well, the launch of Aladino was basically launched in 2015, and I was not with my dad in back time. I was working in corporate America with one of the big food and beverage companies, and then that was launched with my brother and CLE. But as you know, my brother is very successful with the CLE, the Eiroa brands. So and Asylum. So basically, my dad decided for us to basically, a cigar brand for a integrated operation. The success of a cigar brand is the lifeblood of any farm operation. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's very important to develop the brand and get it into people's hands, and also develop that blood flow, so when we sell cigars, we could keep on growing more tobacco, and also be able to provide a good living for all the people that work for us, and the communities that also depend from the tobacco and cigar industry.
It's a very impressive operation, but you are still very boutique in terms of you're not trying to pump out millions of cigars.
Well, I think in today's new market, I don't think we never want to get back to those big old numbers, in the heydays of the Camacho days. I think one of the things we do want to do is probably stay in a smaller range, have consistent quality, kind of depend. So everything that we grow, as you saw, our warehouse close to 1 million pounds of raw materials. We're set, and we keep on building that. So as we continue to grow, every time you smoke one of our cigars, it's going to be consistent. And we want to be, as a grower, also be the professional growers in the industry.
We've tried quite a number of your cigars while we're here, and the quality of each one, the build quality, the construction, and overall consistency is just outstanding.
And the flavor is great. I was really impressed by the Connecticut, which I'll just show one of these to the camera. That's what Justo's smoking as well. But this Connecticut, this is something that is yet to be launched. Is that right?
That is correct.
When does this come out?
Well, we're probably going to do a soft launch. As you know, we're bringing in a group of retailers. And right now we've got groups of retailers from PA, from Pennsylvania, and from Texas. And there's a soft launch in April that we'll do that. And then at the IPCPR, it's going to be one of our premier lines that would be showing. But definitely this is probably one of the smoothest and cleanest Connecticut cigars that's going to be out there in the market, and I think it's going to be something that the consumers are going to really enjoy.
It's an outstanding cigar. It's just so you know, this is a very it's on the mild side, but it has such a wonderful flavor to it that even though a lot of the guys here generally aren't into mild cigars overall, everyone's been smoking them because they're so
Everyone's
good.
Been raving about
raving about them.
And you're absolutely right, Ian. It's about the flavor, and sometimes
lots of flavor.
Sometimes you want something more powerful. Sometimes you want a milder cigar. But what's always disappointing to someone who maybe normally smokes a medium to full range cigar is when they light up a Connecticut, and it's not just light, but it doesn't have a big flavor profile. These cigars have got really a very incredible flavor profile, very toasty, very sort of the warmer kind of tones. It's just a really, really wonderful tasting cigar.
I really appreciate that, and that is one of the qualities that when we blend, we always have that component of Corojo. Corojo is such a unique leaf that it gives you so much flavor, so much intensity of flavor. And if the tobacco is well aged, it's just going to be very smooth, and you have some sweetness into it. So it's incredible. It's such a great noble leaf.
Creaminess to it that just can't be denied.
And of course, we saw you sorting the Corojo leaves today in the factory, and just watching how those are made ready, basically, to be rolled. And then we watched the rollers with them. I mean, it's such a fascinating process to anybody that hasn't seen it. And we've taken plenty of video footage. We'll show some of that. But I want to tell a story, if it's okay, about something that happened last night. We were all sitting out here smoking, and Justo brought out some cigar samples of something they're working on that has not been released yet. And this is going to be one of their really more sort of premier cigars, something that's a little higher in the price range, looking for that
and a little bit more bold in flavor.
And a little more bold in flavor. And so he passed out some samples, and we were smoking them, and some of them were smoking really well. Others had like some burn issues. What I was so blown away by was today he got all of us in a circle and had all of us talk about what happened with your cigar, what happened with your cigar. And he had his blenders there, he had his master roller people were there, Julio was there, your father.
Even a couple examples from...
Right, and went down the list of everything, and then those guys went back to work because they haven't got it where you want it yet. I just thought that was really impressive. I'm not sure... I mean, I know that everyone has their quality control, and everybody's going to come in and do test smokes of things before they release them. But I'm not sure how many would be taking the opinions of people like us and saying, "Okay, guys, we're listening. We're going to go back. We're going to go back and work on this some more."
That's not. I'll look into it. We're looking into it right now.
Well, that's right. Yeah, they went back and started making adjustments. I think this afternoon, didn't they?
Absolutely. One of the things I always say, the best cigar is the one that the consumer likes, and so for me, it's very important that every consumer that smokes the JRE line and they're smoking Julio Eiroa manufactured cigars, they need to understand that we really take a lot of passion and also our employees. As you saw, our master roller there, he was, he, in a way, he felt a little bit bad and kind of embarrassed.
Yeah,
but automatic, he told me, "Don't worry, I'll get it. We're gonna get it right." What would happen was before the group started to come down, I called a week earlier, say, "Hey guys, I need 100 cigars of the new prototype." So automatically did it, and they were probably a little bit underfilled, and because it's not the normal size that we're doing. And the normal size that we do, everything seems to be perfect, and everything that we try to do is perfect.
I'll point out we had the cigar in a Maduro, in a Robusto. And it was fantastic. It was, not only was it amazing flavor, but the draw was just absolutely perfect.
Draw, burn,
so
everything's perfect.
This was just you working on a different size of
different
these.
Size. It's not a normal size that we roll. And for us, any suggestions or any criticism that we get to better our product is very welcome. I mean, you only do us a favor, and for customers, it's very important to know that we want to make sure that everything that they buy, they spend their money to enjoy something, they enjoy it, and that we're there behind them.
Meeting your father, Julio, was quite an experience. He is quite an interesting character. How heavily involved is he still in the day-to-day operations of this place?
150%. I mean, I could even say 1,000%. Him and I work, in a lot of the plants in the farm, but at the end of the day, he calls the shots, and I say, "Hey, I thought we agreed with this." "Well, I changed my mind. We're doing it this way now." So that's the way he is.
Well, he was everywhere when we were on the tour. Like he would see him in all the different stages,
right,
over and over again daily. So
absolutely.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really, one of the other things that has made a big impression on me on this trip is, sometimes when we walk into a cigar shop and we see the price of a cigar and we think, oh man, remember back in the good old days when cigars were 50 cents, and it's amazing to me that you can even release an $8 cigar with how many hands have to touch it, how many different parts of the process have to be done just right to be able to get a cigar that we're going to smoke and go, man, that was great.
Well, and something that you just said now, I think as you see the industry, cigar prices are starting to creep up because not only is it more expensive to grow, salaries go up, and where the manufacturing and the growing is, but at the same time, we get a lot of taxes and fees, not only federal when we bring in the cigars, but statewide. Each state's got their own tax system, and it's we're taking actually a beating. So long run, as time goes on, you'll see prices creeping up almost every year.
You seem to be very optimistic, though, about the future of the premium cigar business and what you guys are doing here. I know a lot of people talk about the impending legislation and things like that, and have maybe a more pessimistic view of where things are headed. You don't seem that way at all. You seem like you're just gung-ho and ready to rock.
Well, I come from, my background comes from mass consumption for the beverage business.
Right.
And I kind of study the trends of what's going on, and I like to see that there is a great future, because a hand-rolled cigar, everything that we do is 100% natural. Filler, binder, wrapper. There's no additives. So we're as we're the only Bayer best practice certified farm in the industry. And as a matter of fact, we have already sent letters for FDA to come and visit us. We want to be lead the way and show the standard for the industry.
The sanitation standard has been outstanding. There's a lot of times where we have to stop. We have to make sure our shoes are sanitized, and we walk through the mister.
The Mr. Disinfection tunnels.
And sanitize our hands before we walk into a lot of areas. And people are having to do that every time they walk into that area, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of the things that I see. And, like all if you go into any food or processing plants in the U.S., they're the USDA or they're FDA approved. And I think in the long run, if even the slaughterhouses that export beef or watermelons or shrimp, they're FDA inspected. 50% of U.S. products are inspected by the FDA. So, that's a true reality of what's going on in the industry. And if you don't prepare to do that and take the extra steps to do it right, then we're doing it right, and we want to keep on doing it right. So I feel optimistic, and I think a lot of the people in the industry will try to do the same. Because I think there's still a future. I think we're always going to smoke. Even Europe is still smoking cigars and growing.
It speaks to your commitment to the craft, how open you are about everything, too. One of the things that you said to us on the first day we were here is take pictures, take videos of anything you want. We're hiding nothing. Anything you see, feel free. And that's just so open and honest. I love that approach.
Yeah, it is awesome. I was also impressed, by the way, by how much tobacco you have in those barns. That's amazing. How long, if you stopped growing today, how many years worth of tobacco do you think you would have?
Well, at our current level of production, we got a couple years. Maybe in the previous life that we were doing a lot of cigars, maybe 2 years, or less. But
yeah.
But now we got plenty of tobacco, and that's one of the things we wanted to show you, that we're here for the long run.
That's awesome. And lastly, I just wanted to ask you, of the things that you guys are working on or blending or developing, what are you most excited about right now from Aladino?
Well, I think if you have all tasted, the new Aladino Connecticut, I think it's probably going to be one of the cleanest, smoothest, creamiest cigars out there. It's going to be a mild cigar, but it's got tons of flavor. So
it's a great cigar for a beginner, and also for an experienced smoker who wants something on the lighter side that still has good flavor.
And I think a lot of people who smoke a cigar or two a week aren't necessarily looking for a huge bomb,
Or powerhouse,
huge
right.
powerhouse of a cigar. But they want something that has really good flavor, something that they can handle. And I think that's going to be a huge hit with consumers.
Well, the
I really
price
do.
point on it is fantastic. What is this? What is this cigar going to go for right here?
This is when it's a Corona. This is probably going to be about $620 or
Yeah,
so.
that's-
yeah. It's going to be
That's it.
But everything is going to be underneath 10. Because there are a lot of states that get taxes, and the best-selling wrapper in the country is Connecticut. So
Right.
so we're going after that market. We want to just start venturing into where mass consumption is. We have a unique niche, which is Corojo, which we're known for. But I think we could also, with the combination of Corojo, which is such a noble leaf, we could blend something like that, which is mild but with flavor.
Well, the flavor of everything we've had has been incredible, and I'm really psyched to see you guys making such inroads. And thank you again for the hospitality. It has really been wonderful, and we kind of feel like we're on a step of this journey with you. So it's been awesome.
Oh no, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for hosting me. It's a true honor. Thank you so much, guys.
Justo Eiroa from the Aladino Cigar Factory and Farm, and from JRE. Try these cigars. You will not be disappointed. It's smoking and toasting.